It's always a good time. We have a good time talking about the financial markets work, how they work, how different people can invest in these markets. But you have to have some knowledge, and you do have to have some skill. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What the smart money is doing a little bit differently than the public. They're putting people in different positions, but doing something a little bit different than themselves. Before we talk about how we can participate in these markets as the average or the public investing people, what's going on right now? We're seeing some confusion in the market again. The market was, I guess we'll say, somewhat flat for the week, but there was still a lot of great movements, a lot of great action, a little bit shorter term. What's going on?
Yeah, it was an interesting week. The Dow and the S&P were down about 0.7, 0.8%. NASDAQ was up 0.2%, but the NASDAQ, it looked like somebody jumping on a trampoline. I mean, it was just some wild movements there. Russell was up 2.4%. But, there's kind of a tug of war going on right now. We've come off with some really interesting things. We had the presidential election. Well, we still kind of have the presidential election
a little bit.
And that caused some movement. The issues with what's going on with the Senate. But what's really moved the market now, because the election's almost kind of been forgotten by the market. Right now, it's kind of a tug of war between the COVID cases, the increase in COVID cases, and the good news about vaccine. And the reason that's so important to the market is because of its impact on the economy. So that's kind of what we'll be looking at over the next few weeks. See what happens there. That vaccine is going to be a huge thing that's going to really impact what's going to happen going forward. Retail sales were down a little bit with this forecast. Jobless claims increased. A number of things there. But you know what? There's so many things happening and so many new participants in this market that are kind of adding to the emotional component of the moves. And we really can't know in advance. I mean, we don't know on Monday what kind of news is going to come out from one of these companies working on a vaccine or what the COVID numbers are going to be. But what the best you can do really is to concentrate on what happens on a repeatable and a reliable basis. And even with these big moves, up and down moves, price is just moving into a proper buy or sell area faster, which might mean that instead of looking at quantity, instead of looking at a bunch of trades that you think you might be able to participate in, just look for quality trades. What's a quality trade? It's one that has the highest probability of succeeding, or a very high probability of succeeding, with a high profit potential, and then minimizing the risk at that entry point. So those are the things that are really important. And the truth is, in the markets, regardless of which market it is, there's pretty much two groups that participate. One is a group that is consistently participating in the right way, and one that's not. The good news for us is we know which group is participating the right way. And we can utilize what they do to have a better opportunity for us to participate really right along with them. We're just basically following what these people are doing. Who are they? Well, we talk about them every week. It's the smart money. It's the big firms, the big Wall Street firms. It's the big hedge funds, the big pro traders. Those are the people that are participating regardless of which direction the market is going. And they're consistent in the way that they approach these markets. So how do we do that? How do we follow what they're doing? Well, fortunately for us, they kind of telegraph to us their movements, and we can see it on a price chart. So our students are taught how to read a price chart very similar to how a radiologist would read an X-ray or an MRI. Everything you need to know is in a price chart if you just know what you're looking for. And that's what our goal with our education is to teach students how to identify what they're looking for. And really what they are looking for is price activity, price movement caused by these big players.
That's the key, is to trade like those, the smart money, the financial institutions. Just to double down on what Al's talking about, when institutions are telegraphing, what we're saying is they're moving millions and billions of dollars in the markets every single day. And that's telegraphed on a chart. We use a price chart to identify where they are making those moves. Kind of like we might have snow tomorrow or Monday. And what do you do? What happens when you walk through the snow? You leave a footprint behind you. You're identifying yourself where you're going. When you're moving millions and billions of dollars, that's what happens in the financial markets. So what do you need? You need a core strategy. You need a core strategy that's designed to follow them, to follow the big institutions, to trade like them, not like the novice or not like the public typically does that. Al, coming up next, I want to continue this discussion on how the market really moves, how it works, how it functions, how the smart money is moving this market and its supply and demand.
Sure.
Coming up next, supply and demand. This is Josh and Al. We will be right back.